Hey there, Dave Paulides. Canine Missing Project copyrighted edition for our video page. And we're on the Flathead River, and this is a special day. Very few days during a season when you get a hatch that starts. This hatch just started this morning. And little flies are all over this river. And I took you to this specific spot. Few people know about it. And you're going to see the fish jumping like mad behind us. Since I've been here, I've watched it for the last 30 minutes. I've probably seen 20 fish rise right here at this pool that you're looking at. So across the river is Glacier National Park. We're in U.S. Forest area right here. But it'll keep you busy watching as I talk to you today. So, first to the mailbag. In your latest video dated March 31st, disappearances of 3 individuals, all from vehicles, you read an email from a man known only as Idaho. He recounts an incident which happened to him in October '99. I'll recount a few of the things he said. He descended south into a draw. Later his view darkened. He was concerned but pressed on, walking. He talks then about a little panic setting in. However, he is determined to make it to the other side. He continues heading south and downward with a sweat and stinging eyes, yet he's determined. Then he hears a raven as he walks up and out to his bike. He goes on to say that a hike which should have taken 20 minutes took him 5 hours. Here are a few thoughts of my concerns. Things went dark. At no time does he mention turning around. 5 hours passed and he believes he spent the entire time walking. Mentions panic, mentions sweating. Determined to get out, here's a raven, up and out at his bike. As I see it, this man had a missing time incident. He doesn't recall a thing about what happened, but I think that's what he's saying. Once it went dark, that's when it began or it happened to him, because he mentions panic, which is another clue, first being things darkened. He then mentions sweating along with the determination to get out. That was most likely when he was feeling during the missing time incident, which he cannot recall. He only remembers continuously walking, which are more clues. Then he hears a raven call, that's another clue, followed by he walks up and out to his bike. So in conclusion, his incident began when things darkened and the feeling of panic started in. His ordeal ended when the raven called at this point that he was freed, and only his memory of missing time is that he spent continuously walking. I hear him. Missing time incidents are interesting. I've been told about them for dozens of years. I've had people talk to me about it continuously. It's an unusual set of situations from different parts of the world where you hear about this. And the X-Files was really good on doing several shows about it. If you can go back and watch them, it's a good education. They're pretty well done. Second letter. Hey Dave, please don't let negative comments influence your content. These people are narcissistic sheep who have zero experience in this field, yet have all the answers. They don't realize their comments, criticism, and thumbs down only promote your channel through algorithms. These people are insecure, jealous, and in need of attention to verify their existence. And they feed on your response. Ignore them, they'll go away. This is one of the best channels on the internet. Mysterious, high strangeness, and a sensitive level. The emotional loss of life and the absence of closure for so many is nothing short of being incomprehensible. Without your explanation, no matter how unbelievable the facts may be, we all would be in the dark regarding this phenomena. Your dedication, experience, and hard work will reward you with answers one day. We are thankful for your presence. You are greatly needed. I know you heard this many times before, but I feel you need to hear it more. Thank you. You know, it's good to hear things from the public that are positive, upbeat, and supportive. You're right. The negative sayers, I've cleaned them out, most of them from the channel, and you don't hear much about them anymore, but it does bother me that people make irrational, wild comments. The channel here is free. You get to watch this for free. It doesn't cost you anything except your own time. I get comments sometimes, Dave, why do you say that not to follow authors that don't vet their work, yet you read things here on the channel that also aren't vetted and aren't supported in fact sometimes. I'm giving it to you for free. I don't want to see people go out and spend their money on books and then be reading crap. There's a big difference. Okay, next letter. Hi Dave, my name is Bob. I'm a 27-year-old trying to make sense of this like the rest of us. I have a theory as to maybe one potential explanation for what's going on with all these cases. In all Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, pretty much all believe exactly the same thing. We all believe in one true creator. The only real differentiating point between all of them is the way they view Jesus. Christians tend to believe that Jesus is God, Muslims believe Jesus was a prophet, and Judaism tends not to think much about him at all. Other than that, we're all basically the same. I bring this up because I believe there is a truth in the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran all together. The Quran tells us of another race of creatures that God chose to inhabit Earth. They are the jinn, D-J-I-N-N, also known as genies, spirits, etc. God says in the Quran that he created the jinn out of smokeless fire. For many centuries, people didn't know how to interpret that line, but now in 2021, I believe we have the knowledge to understand what it means. God created the jinn out of pure energy, and they live on this earth just like behind a veil we can't see or penetrate. They live, eat, sleep, give birth all on this earth, but in a different dimension, for lack of a better term. Jinn have different personalities. Some are friendly, some are evil, some are afraid, some are bold. They also believe in different religions, just like us humans. Muslims believe Satan was an angel, but a jinn. All Abrahamic religion basically agree that these creatures exist. We just have different terms for them. King Solomon had a jinn bring him Queen Sheba's throne under his orders in a famous tale. And the jinn transported her throne to him in a matter of moments over thousands of miles, thus demonstrating their utter power. In the Quran, Muhammad had many interactions with jinn, and we learned that the evil ones live in the wilderness in dark, dry, secluded places, exiled away from the friendly. Jinn who are permitted to live in and amongst humans. I believe that most of these disappearances are humans encountering predatory, murderous, evil jinn, who attacked either because of fear of humans being in their territory or because of their own evil desires. Abrahamic religions tells us that jinn can take many shapes and forms: dogs, cats, lights, orbs, creatures, humanoids, etc., and likely choose their shape to blend in or around and to scare you. These jinn are also responsible for the majority of real exorcisms where the possessed had the jinn living inside them. While frightening, I encourage you and your community to look up the jinn possession videos and see for yourself who possessed speak multiple languages fluently and they didn't before. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm so inspired and proud of your courage and strength even in the face of incredible loss. God bless. Interesting email. I appreciate these because they're working off religious text. They're not... Should have brought my rod. After I'm done here, I'm going right back home, getting my rod, coming back. Next one. Hey Dave, I just finished reading the book Sinai to Zion by Joel Richardson. In there is an Appendix A section in which explores the sea dragon, parentheses Satan, who is depicted as residing in the waters of the planet Earth, which God's Spirit hovered over and subdued in the beginnings of Genesis. And at the end times, Jesus will come back and take care of the chaos dragon who is in the rivers and the seas. So it would appear that Satan, as the original chaos dragon, is still in the water somehow, whether physically or as a spiritual being, can impact human beings still. It also has the name of Leviathan, which represents chaos and the powers of darkness. The essence of pure evil. When you think about it, we have never explored the depths of the oceans, and we don't really understand water, even though it comprises 70% of Earth. We do know that it is alive and reacts differently to types of music, whether in harmony or discord. This is true. Appendix B explores Yahweh, Jesus, as the cloud rider who reveals his presence by storm clouds rolling in bad weather. Let me read that again. Cloud rider who reveals his presence by storm clouds rolling in and bad weather resulting. This section really caught my attention in light of God revealing himself to me in the angel cloud formation, and I previously shared with you. I highly recommend you get this book just to read the end 2 sections. Thank you. I will. All right, next letter. First, my condolences for your loss. Ben was a great man, taken from us far too soon. My love, prayers, and thoughts go out to you guys. I work for a government agency that I won't specify here and have an advanced physics engineering degree. That's as much as I will say about that, for it is not the point of the letter. I'm not boasting, but I wanted to establish that I'm no religious, dogmatic, flat earth nut job, so to speak. I am a scientifically minded, logical, fact-based skeptic who must prove rationally all things to myself before blindly believing in something. Hallelujah, I wish everybody was that way. So I did prove it out scientifically that there's a God, and that stuff taught in our schools and colleges is simply another type of control system. Having said that, I wanted to let you know that indeed we are in a spiritual war. Your son Ben was correct. Please don't listen to any religions, traditions, which are men, for there is God, and he left his creation and word as witness, which has been with us since the beginning. No power structure, organization, or control system created by men has anything to do with God's spirit and word. This goes for pagans' religions as well, and there's an adversary whose name means deception. Anyone promising secret esoteric knowledge about things or occult knowledge always seem peaceful and harmless as anyone else is on the surface, but are deceived by the adversary. I know what Roman Catholic organization who claim to be Christians and the true church believe, but don't listen to their false doctrine and traditions about suicide. God absolutely is not with them, and his word doesn't back up their traditions or beliefs. In fact, by studying scriptures, you will see what I say is true. The reason I say this is to help you from falling into that trap. Jesus Christ said that you know them by their fruit, so it's pretty bad when you have to dedicate an entire branch of your church only for casting out demons from your own congregation and followers. Wouldn't you agree? If they really are under God's protection, then it should be unnecessary to the presence of the Holy Spirit. Most possessed people are Catholics, atheists, or of a pagan religion. You can actually research it to see if I'm right, but from my own extensive research, it seems to be accurate. Yes, the Bible is scientifically and historically accurate, also inconsistent throughout. Jesus is the Messiah, Son of God, made us able to reconcile back to God, Jehovah, through his own blood, atonement, and cross resurrection. I spent my entire life proving this out for myself. Nowhere in Scripture does it say suicide. It is anything but a regular old sin, which we are atoned for by Jesus, just like any other. It's not a hell or purgatory ticket. And I've been told that many times. Some people at the beginning said, oh yeah, you know, you're going to be stuck in this purgatory. Others said, no, it's not true. So, I don't know. I felt really bad about that for a long time. So, I'm going to talk to you about two cases today. And both of these are very, very to the point. You'll get it quick. So, last time we talked about some cases from Texas. Well, we're going to start there again. And this is a man named Wilbur or Woodrow, depending on the articles and the way you research it. It could be either. But his last name was Klaus, K-L-A-U-S. He was 24 years old. He was German. The date was October 16th, 1960, just north of Port Mansfield, Texas. He went with 6 other friends who were plumbers to go fishing. And it is a very, very rare day that I write about a fisherman that disappeared. So keep that in mind. But 5 of them stayed up late on this Saturday night fishing. And Wilbur decided to walk north in the canal towards this other area where he thought it'd be good fishing. And he had a flashlight with him in his fishing pole. And they lost sight of him. Well, the next morning his friends wake up and Wilbur's not around. So they call the sheriff. Sheriff starts searching, and right away they're not finding anything, and then they call the Coast Guard. And the sheriff said he wanted to drag the canal, which I can understand because they're not finding any tracks, nothing from the point where they saw Wilbur walking north, nothing. So the Coast Guard came in, air support from Point Isabel Naval Air Station came on, the Raymondville Fire Department responded, and they were about 2 miles from Padre Island National Park, 35 miles north of the Mexican border. That'll kind of give you a show you. So, Mexican border down here, Gulf of Mexico, This is the guy's fishing. 12 miles further north, they find Klaus. Very strange. So, on Monday, so he disappears on a Saturday. On Monday, oil workers come to work. And they find Klaus 12 miles from where he was, 33 miles north of Port Mansfield, on an oil barge. You heard that right. The people took him off the barge, heard from the sheriff that somebody was missing. They called the sheriff, they come pick him up. His parents had already responded down to help in the search. They turn him over to a sheriff. Sheriff tries to talk to him, and he has no memory at all about what happened. He said from the point he left his friends, he has no memory. He doesn't know how he got to where he was, nothing. He was missing his shoes. He had amnesia. He was on water. No memory, and he's German. A very strange case. Now, there aren't a ton of cases that I've researched in Texas. And there's a lot of water there. And that really starts the south when you start moving towards Alabama, Louisiana, where there's almost no cases, but there's tons of water. And that's the key to me. So, next case, I'm going to go clear around the globe. I mean clear around the globe. We're going to talk about a case that in a country where I've never talked to you about a case before. And Zimbabwe, United States, South America, Northern Africa, Europe, Zimbabwe. So, in this incident, a man from India is with his wife and another couple vacationing. And they decide, his name was Zayd Dada. He's 31 years old. The date is January 4th, 2015. And they went to a place called Mount Nyangani. And it's in Nyanga, N-Y-A-N-G-A, National Park. The mountain is feared by locals. It's got a long history. In 1981, 2 daughters of the finance minister of Zimbabwe disappeared on a field trip on the mountain. Never were found. Another boy, 12-year-old Robert Ackhurst, also vanished on that mountain and was never found. The locals, the Manyika, believe there's a vindictive spirit on the mountain. And you have to ask the spirits if you want to tread on their mountain. And if you don't, it's very similar to people that climb Everest or other mountains in the Himalayas and hang prayer flags. You're asking for permission. Well, 16,000 visitors climb the mountain per year. Its elevation at the top is 8,504 feet. Not real high, you know, and from the years I spent in Colorado where there's tons of mountains at 11, 12, 13, 14,000 feet. So, but it's the biggest mountain in the country. So halfway up, the 4 people, 3 of the 4 decide that they're tired and they don't want to climb any further. Zayd says he wants to keep going. So 3 of them turn around and go back. Zayd keeps going. Point of separation. So searchers, when they got back to the bottom, they waited till 4 p.m. He didn't come back. It should take about 3 or 4 hours to go up and down that mountain. Per their Department of Tourism, there's 4 different ways to climb the mountain. So they called the Zimbabwe Army. The Zimbabwe Air Force responded with helicopters and troops. They were hampered by rain per articles about the incident. And the upper mountain has no foliage, lots of big boulders and granite. So this happened in 2015. It's now 2021. It's been 6 years, 16,000 people per year climb it. So almost 100,000 people have been up and down that mountain. Zayd has never been found. That makes no sense. So, they didn't find any tracks, no evidence that he was on the mountain. Point of separation, weather. The slopes on the northward side flow into the Zambezi River. Tourism says it's a 1 to 3 hour trek from the different starting points. So you don't start at 0 elevation, you start higher. So where'd Zayd go? Now, if you're new to this, you're going to go, hey, big deal, everyone disappears on a mountain. No, it's not the way it is. And a couple weeks after Zayd would have disappeared, his body would have stunk so bad, anybody climbing that mountain would have smelled it, and they would have went to it, they would have found the body. Never happened. Now, I did a show called Vanished, and you can watch it on Amazon right now. History Channel owns it. And they put it on Amazon, you can watch it for a couple bucks. And in that show, we climbed Mount Shasta in Northern California, 14,000 feet. We went up there because there was a series of disappearances. And that mountain, there's no place to hide there. There's no deep crevasses. There's nothing to hide in. And there was a guy who was head of the California Search and Rescue Department for that area of the state, a guy named Grizz Adams. Grizz made a famous statement to me. He said, Dave, I flew a Cobra helicopter to the top of Mount Shasta, and we dropped off a series of climbers that went down and covered it like a spider web. And he said, that man isn't on the mountain. He either went in or he went up, but he is not on. Famous words. And I've had hundreds of people comment on that. And I tend to believe it. And again, it's one of those things where tens of thousands of people have climbed Mount Shasta and again never found this individual. So I take disappearances on mountains where you're not technically climbing, there's no snow presence, there's no crevasses. I take these disappearances seriously because there's no logical explanation to what happened to the people. Especially when they're stable, married, have a good family, and they're tens of thousands of miles from the way home. And where did they go? A lot of you have said, oh, you know, like the Brian Schaefer case from Columbus, Ohio. People said, oh, he got thrown out the window into a dumpster. All that area was searched the next day by police. Or some other people said, oh, he's in a vent in the second floor and he's stuffed in there. Folks, if you stuffed a body in a vent, in about 4 days, it's going to stink up the whole building so bad, nobody could occupy it. No, he's not there. Brian's not there. And you got to trust that the detectives working that case did one heck of a job. And it's one of those times where I really admire the work they did. So, I know it's hard to get bought into a topic if you don't read it. It's easy to dismiss it if you just watch it. And it's not that I'm trying to get you to buy the books. Go to the library and read the books, because then you'll get vested in the topic and you'll understand it at a much higher level. This isn't just random occurrences. This isn't just happenstance. There's a systematic way that these things happen. And just like I said with Zayd, at that point of separation, something happened after that. Nothing happened when they all four were together. It happened after. But what happened? Zayd didn't plan for this. The other three said they were tired. He thought all four were going to go to the top. Those are the thoughts to keep. Give the video a thumbs up. Please post this on your social media. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm still getting hundreds of people that tell me, oh, I was never notified, and then I found out I wasn't even subscribed. I don't know what happened. Who knows what's happening on YouTube? I don't know. But tell your friends that if you believe this to be me to be a credible source, especially with summer coming up, it'd be good that people start paying attention to these kind of things. It'd be great if everybody listening went out and bought a personal locator beacon. Again, I own no part of any business that has one, but I just know its value. So, thanks for being a friend. Remember, we're a village. Comments are appreciated. And I hope that you have a great week. Take care. Bye. Give you a little spin down the river here. And that is Glacier on the other side. Right there. Oh, oh, oh! That was a good one. That was a big fish that just rose for a fly right there. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, fisherman on film. Told you there were fish in here. So these are cutthroat. Hey, show us that fish! Awesome! Thanks!
Right on.
Alright, you guys. You have a great week. Take care, bye.